What's good? Santi back with another video for you guys. I know it's been a while since I posted one. Man, I've been real busy and stuff. But my channel was initially started due to the COVID situation and just things that I'm aligned with prior to all of this stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? And I was moved to speak on the COVID situation because with COVID, it brings to the surface or makes people pay attention to underlying problems on the individual level and in the societal level, you know. And me speaking on semen retention was just something that I felt moved to do at that time, but my channel is not about semen retention. And I'm not going to be making my channel the focus of semen retention. That's not what my channel is about. And videos upcoming will be more so on a spiritual level and a knowledge of self basis, which is what I am about. You know what I'm saying? And speaking on things such as ancestral knowledge and speaking from what my purpose is. Me speaking on semen retention, I have posted enough videos on that so you all can go back and watch those. You know what I'm saying? But I have another realm of knowledge that individuals who may speak on semen retention don't really necessarily delve into, because a lot of their positioning on semen retention is media influence. But I already had an idea of it 7 years ago before they were putting out videos about it on YouTube. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm not speaking on it anymore. And if I feel the need to touch on it, it's because it coincides with the situations that I'm discussing, But understanding society, understanding origins, understanding where we come from, and knowing who we are is the most important thing for me, And gaining a knowledge that is not necessarily put at the forefront of our daily lives, but at the same time is right before our eyes. It's something that, I'm looking at taking taking head on, because I know what my purpose is and I know what I'm looking to build and to create, and YouTube is not the only platform that I use. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be a part of the semen retention community because I'm not them. You know what I'm saying? I have many different interests and many different realms of knowledge that I possess, that's not just solely on the topic. Whatever I'm moved to speak on at that time is what I'll speak on. But, I will be speaking on dispelling racist ideologies, you know what I'm saying? Understanding, who we are as spiritual beings, and recognizing that the way that society operates is not truly reflexive or reflective of where we originally come from and who we are as people. A lot of things in this system are backwards and are meant to keep us in a state of fear, anxiety, and constant state of self-destruction, and there are people who are not, surrounded by this type of knowledge. It's not around them. Like they don't have the resources. They don't have the ideas. You know what I'm saying? They're coming from very dire circumstances. And then there are those individuals who were brought towards certain knowledge because of me, and individuals who started their journey a long time ago, And so I want to address individuals who need to remember, you know, and this is why I'm stepping away from semen retention, because my journey is not like the next person's, and the next person's journey is not like mine. But I stand true on the knowledge that I've given to people and how I made it important to them, their ancestry, and where they come from, you know. But knowledge of self is imperative. You know what I'm saying? What are you here to do? What type of change are you meant to bring, and are you meant to challenge the system? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people have this cookie cutter idea of who you're supposed to be, and they try to impose that on you. You know what I'm saying? No different than Europeans coming out of Europe with indigenous spiritual systems that they've taken from Africans and other people, and creating this religion and then sending it out into the world. It's no different. It's no different than a person coming to me and telling me who I am, and they don't know me, telling me, you know, oh, well, you're this and this and that, especially if they don't have any knowledge of themselves. It's a lot of people who don't know who they are, and they want to try to tell you about the world. They haven't been anywhere outside of their little neighborhood or their little city or their little state, or maybe even the US. You know what I'm saying? And they want to proceed to tell you things that's based on opinion and heresy or hearsay and gossip and information that was misconstrued and distorted. You know, like I was telling a friend of mine on Facebook, you know, who had posted some research that came out in, like, I think it was like maybe 2006, about them finding a text that stated, and I had found it in 2010, 2011, that stated that, but I couldn't find it because it was a website that had documented all of these different scriptures that were taken out of the text. You know, because in the Western Hemisphere, compared to other churches and other denominations, there are different versions of religious texts, when there shouldn't be different versions of religious texts. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking about in the English format, you got different denominations that say that with Bibles that say something different, right? So in this particular instance, it's a text that claims that Judas was told by God to turn on Jesus. You know, and I said, that's why our people need to stop. When I say our people, I'm talking about melanated people. I'm talking about quote unquote people of color. You know what I'm saying? Who were given bits and pieces of these religious scriptures, and then they think that they have the truth when those scriptures were used to weaponize us. They were weaponized against us. You know what I'm saying? When you have the slave master teaching you a text and he's giving you bits and pieces, why would somebody impose their culture and their way of living on you and then give you a religious text that's supposed to free you? That makes no sense to me. If they're doing whatever they can to make you a slave and to break you and to take away your identity, why would they give you a text to free you? Why would they give you a text deemed so powerful with the possibility of you using it to overthrow them? That makes no sense to me. Why would the same individuals that created this system from stolen knowledge are the same ones that gave you your religious beliefs? And they gave you religious beliefs that they don't even uphold. And then probably even 4 or 5 years back, an article came out from the Pope stating, and it was probably even more recent than that, stating that atheists don't have to believe in God to go to heaven. When I had already stated, I said the most important thing that a person can do to get into any heaven is know themselves. If you have a God, and this is me speaking from my own mind, if I died and I go to judgment, and quote unquote God asks me if I believe in him, I'm gonna tell him no. I'm more likely to get into heaven because I stayed in alignment with the truth of myself and didn't just tell him and profess to people around me when I was on the physical plane, yeah, I believe in God, just so they would accept me. You know what I'm saying? And see, this is the problem. A lot of people have this idea that their religion is the absolute truth. When religion in itself, as we know it in English-speaking countries in Western societies, is a European construct. It's made the fuck up through different stories from different cultures with imbued with other interpretations. Okay? Granted these books may have wisdom in them, but they are mythology. It is mythology, right? So that's the point I'm trying to make. You know, like my journey has been a real one. And I've stated this before. I went, I came up in the streets. I went to college. I traveled to different places. You know what I'm saying? But everybody was not accepting of who I am. Not everybody was accepting of who I am. And you get people out here complaining about I'm the black sheep and I'm the lone wolf. Nobody, I don't care about none of that shit. When you really grow up around that, you don't care about, it's like you see people for who they are and you don't care about labeling yourself a lone wolf or a black sheep, because it's almost like you're trying to get somebody to pity you for being different or for the fact that nobody accepts you. No, I refuse to, even though I walk a different path and I'm unique in my own right and I do things differently from others, I'm not going to ever label myself a black sheep or a lone wolf, even though I have stood alone against my friends, quote unquote friends, and my own family. You know what I'm saying? Because I have knowledge of self, right? But I wasn't put on, I didn't come to YouTube and I wasn't called to YouTube to sit here and speak on semen retention like it's some type of cult, or if it's some type of fan club or grassroots movement. No, it serves a purpose and it's very deep. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand what goes beyond it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse when it comes to the topic of semen retention or being redundant, when I'm much more than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on projects, I'm doing collaborations, I'm doing research and stuff, speaking on ancestry, you know what I'm saying, speaking on colonization. My biggest issue is colonization. Because if you don't understand colonization, you're not going to understand why we deal with the bullshit that we deal with in society. Because colonization, all of this shit is a construct of colonization. You know what I'm saying? And all of these racist ideologies and things like that, you know what I'm saying? And where they come from in tribal warfare in Africa, and you know what I'm saying? And these companies going overseas and building, you know what I'm saying? They building these factories where they got, you know what I'm saying, Chinese youth and stuff. And even in South America, Coca-Cola, for example, but companies going out. Why countries are third world? Countries are third world because of colonization. Because you had individuals from Europe, and now China is trying to colonize Africa. You had individuals from those countries going, destroying people's culture, killing, fucking up their natural environment, depleting it of its resources, and then having the people scrounge for it, destroying the fabric of those cultures and those tribes that were there. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I'm going to speak on. I have to speak on that because I'm an indigenous person. You know what I'm saying? This is not a fake, this is not a facade. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something I got to speak on, honoring those that died fighting to preserve their cultures, who were here first. You feel me? So I know what my purpose is and I know what my duty is, and I won't ever walk away from that.